What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar with C-Zar Gets Crypto, and we are talking about LTCN, Litecoin on the Grayscale Trust, or Litecoin through the Grayscale Trust for Tama, or Tama. I think it's Tama. We're going to be talking about it right now. So without any further ado, let's get into this. I'm going to adjust my camera here real quick. There we go. Yes, there's boxes. We're moving still. We got some stuff ready for Christmas too, or we're getting ready for Christmas. So it's a little bit of a mess, but we're getting adjusted still, man. It's been a very, very busy past couple of weeks, but enough about me. Top to bottom here, this relative high to this low here, if I can get it, we're at the 61869 area. I would assume that we're at an area where a bit of a rejection can take place. I want to compare it real quick to Litecoin, LTC, and then we'll get rid of it so it's not so confusing. Oh no, I did it on the same price scale, didn't I? LTC USD. I don't actually want it. I want it on a new price scale, because then I can move it around. And let's make it candles. Here we go. Okay, so delete this. There we go. And I hope it's obvious as to, oh, and I need to do this too, don't I? Logarithmic. There we go. I hope it's obvious as to which one's Litecoin and which one's LTCN. Oh my goodness, man. Come on. There we go. Gotta adjust it. Dealing with totally different price frames here, so it takes a second. But you can see they move in unison pretty much. But look at this, right? LTCN has had phenomenal growth while Litecoin's just been kind of staggered, right? And it has moved up a decent bit, right? It went from $60 all the way up to $80. Like that's I wouldn't be upset with taking profits at that, right? That's not bad at all. But LTCN has definitely gone up more. With that, you might see more volatility to the downside. Litecoin might be neutral. It might move up 1%. It might move down 5%, and then LTCN drops like 20%, 30%, you know, stuff like that. And I do think sitting at 1038, you probably will see some kind of reversion back to this green line, back to previous areas of resistance here, previous areas of resistance here. That would be around like $7, a little bit below that even. But maybe a little bit above it, but I would say anywhere from like 720 to 680, maybe lower, who knows. You are pretty overbought. You've been overbought for a while now on your RSI on the weekly. But what I was trying to show here was, you know, for example, so this week for Litecoin, because this is the Litecoin chart right here, right? You see the kind of faded one. This was a green week for Litecoin. It actually went up. It opened the week at $47 and it closed the week at $54. But for LTCN, it actually had a 20% drop. Okay? This week was green, but this week for LTCN was red, right? So just, again, further implementing that, yes, they more or less, you can see it. They do move pretty symmetrically. But look at this, right? Even more perfectly right here. Very big drop-off in LTCN. And LTC had an initial drop-off that was rather big. But LTCN was like staggered for a second. And then as Litecoin kind of leveled off, that's when Litecoin was moving sideways, LTCN moved down. It moved down very quickly. So they don't have to move in unison. And I'm saying this because I don't think that Litecoin is going to see the same kind of dump that LTCN is going to see. That's the main reason why I'm hitting on that. So I'm going to get rid of Litecoin now. But I do think that you've been moving up unchecked for a second now. You're probably going to check yourself and see a 382 reversion, right? Top to bottom here, your 382 is right there around $7, $7.05. Previous areas of resistance. It makes sense. It really does make sense. I do think LTCN has a lot of growth to do. I think it's going to do phenomenal. But in the immediate terms, look for a pullback. It's probably going to happen. You know, on a weekly basis, you're pretty overbought. You went all the way up to the 85 zone. You've been overbought for, I mean, like really since November. Since like the beginning of November, you've been overbought. So it's just a matter of time before you come down. And just because you come down doesn't mean it's all over, you know, but again, I think it's overdue. You can continue to go up. You absolutely can. Let's see, top to bottom here. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not. You hit that 1618 very well. I actually would expect, look at that, man. Generally speaking, with these kind of fibs too, whenever you reject something in this zone or even a little bit higher, whatever, you would at least, like, if you're really good and lucky, you would at least pull back to your 1272 and bounce there. But I don't think you're going to bounce there, man. I think that you go down what's the most common thing to do is to find support on your 886. Now you don't have to do that. Just because it's the most common thing doesn't mean you have to do that. You do have a lot of support at $7. Maybe you go back to $7. Maybe bounce right around that range, but don't be surprised, don't be scared if it drops to 646 or lower. It could go all the way down to $6. And this is why, again, I was talking about Litecoin, because some people misconceive that, oh, you're telling me from top to bottom, okay, fine, from current price to the potential bottom, it could drop 30%, 38%, 42%. What does that mean for Litecoin? Because Litecoin's chart doesn't look that bad right now. I agree. Litecoin's chart doesn't look that bad. In fact, we've seen a week where this thing dropped 20+%, and Litecoin was actually up that week, right? So from like 47 to 52, I don't know. That's like an over 10% growth. But I'm just saying, I do think that you're gonna see this kind of volatility with things like this that have like less liquidity in them than Litecoin itself does. You're going to see volatility. It's just how it happens, right? People are going to be like, I'm not going to continue buying at a premium. I might take profits. We literally just hit the golden extension itself. Like we literally tipped it. I might take profits here. That's what I would be doing. Let's look at the daily. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but look at that. You got bearish. I don't know what that was. You got bearish divergence going on. You are looking strong on your daily, to be completely fair, but something else that's like a bit of concern. Now, again, you might go up higher. You could go up higher from here. Absolutely, you could. Just because you go up higher does not mean that this impending drop is gone. It's still there, but if you go up higher, it just means that you're going to fall from higher. That's basically it. But if you're here at 1038, I would say the highest you could go to is like maybe $13, maybe, but you might not even like that. That could be your top. That really could be your top. No volume here, right? Volume died off. You had it die off as soon as you were over here. Like it's not a good look. Though for consolidation, that's not too bad either. Like if you continue to move up and volume comes back, that'd be good. But if you move up and there's no volume, that same day you might like that you move up, you might get volume as you're selling down. But what I'm trying to say here, man, is that this RSI, this structure, looks really nice. It's very strong, very positive. You got your higher lows, you got your higher highs, but the RSI can only go up so long, right? And this thing isn't going to go all the way up to 100, right? It's very rare that things go up to 100. And in fact, let's see, in this thing's entire history, it has only been at 86 at the highest. Nope, okay, I lied. It's been at 91 at the highest, and it did that in its early years, right? Kind of in the midst of the last bull cycle. We're not in the midst, we're like in the beginnings, right? So maybe it's possible that it could go all the way up here. It's possible, but long story short, whatever move that it has up next, whether it goes beyond this high, whether it goes below this high, whatever, you're probably coming to the end of this little channel up, if you can see it, if it makes sense. You're probably coming to the end of it. And I would think that, again, whatever move, if you were to have a move up from here, wherever it ends up going, whether it's a lower high, whether it's a higher high, wherever, you're probably going to, on the next attempt down, break through it, okay? And if not, you might not go up. You might actually be getting ready to break through it right now. It's totally possible. And when you see that, when you see this RSI kind of, and I know these lines aren't drawn perfectly, but you see what I'm going for, right? Like if you want to draw a really straight line, I'm sure you can get it. Yeah, like that, right? I mean, with this, you didn't even bounce off this, so you could go lower right now. But what I'm trying to say is that when you do break through this, I think that will be the first kind of major indication that this more massive correction, I say massive because it's like over 30%. I think that's pretty significant. Nobody I know would like to lose 30%. Some people can brush it off. I can brush it off. That's no big deal, right? Like I've been in crypto long enough. If you can't hang with the 30% loss, you're in the wrong space. But I wouldn't want to lose 30%, right? I mean, I wouldn't even want to lose 5%, but like 5%, I'm okay with that. But like if there's the potential for 30% or more of a drop, I would be a bit nervous. I think that you are in perfect take profit areas. I'm not telling you what to do. This is not financial advice, but if I was holding this thing, I probably would have sold already, is my personal opinion. So probably down in the more immediate term. If it goes up, it won't be sustained, and you do have that looming downside coming. And then from there, you got more upside, man. This thing looks really strong. I mean, yeah, look at that. Coming down to your 236 at 742. You could go a little bit below it. Sure, maybe you do find support. That's like kind of your best case scenario. Maybe you find support right there at 742. I would think that after you check back in this area. You could go a little bit below, sure, but when you check back in this area, the next place you're going to go is all the way up here at $16, potentially even higher than that, but I would think at least this 382, somewhere in this range. It's possible that you could even go above it, find resistance at previous areas of resistance, previous areas of support, something like that, going all the way up to like $26, $27, but I would think at least to 16.66 cents you would go. So if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you'd like to see more. I appreciate everybody for coming. Thank you very much. This is a very just like nice rounded bottom, man. You dumped so hard, and slowly but surely, just like this kind of bottom, it sets you up for greatness. It really does. Long accumulation phase and just steady growth up. I know I've been talking about it like it's not steady, but if it has that pullback, that's steady, right? It's not just going straight like this right here. If we had something that moved up like this, like if it moved all the way up like this and it continued to like bleed higher, I would very much expect that whenever we get to this price area, you are going to see some phenomenal movements through it, right? But we're not there yet. We've got some time before that happens. But all in all, if you like the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I appreciate all of you very much. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.